Okay, so I was looking at the hydraulics, looking at the first chapter in one of the textbooks, and figuring out how I can explain the math and make these videos so that students will understand them. And I decided to start with unit analysis, or sometimes it's called dimensional analysis. This is something I learned years ago in chemistry, and my professor, he showed us a way to do it, and it always made sense to me, and I've used it a lot, and it's always helped me, so I thought I'd show it to you. Okay, first though, I want to talk about notation. Sometimes in your formulas and stuff, you're going to have variables. Like the other day, we had diameter as a variable. If you remember, it was italicized, okay, so it was written in italics. But sometimes we have units, like miles per hour. And those are not italicized, those are normal. So sometimes it's going to be helpful to you to realize when is it a variable and when is it just a unit of measure that they're talking about, okay? So I thought I'd just point that out. All right, so now I'm going to explain unit analysis on a problem that might be a little more familiar to you. Okay, and it's also called dimensional analysis. I don't know if I mentioned that. Okay, if Bill travels at 60 miles per hour, how many feet does he travel in 1 second? So this is what my chemistry taught us to do, my chemistry teacher. He would say, take what you want. What are you trying to figure out? Well, I want to know feet in 1 second. So I want to know feet per second. That's what I want. And I need to know, what that is. How many feet does the car or Bill travel in 1 second? Then start with what you know. You know he's going 60 miles an hour. He's going 60 miles in 1 hour, or 60 miles per hour. Okay, so then we just start using conversion factors that we know until we get feet per second. Now it's based on the concept, let's say you have something like 15 over 7 times 1 over 3. So remember a little bit about fractions here. This is a little review. 15 you could write as 3 times 5. So don't shudder at the sight of fractions. And then you could cancel the 3's. And then you get an answer. You multiply straight across, so you get 5 over 7. That's how we work with fractions, or it's one way you could do it, okay? But that concept of canceling, that's going to happen over here when we go to do the unit analysis. Okay, so I have to know something about miles and feet. I want feet, right? Okay, well, I have to know how many feet are in a mile. So that's something I look up online, or maybe I just know there's 5,280 feet in 1 mile. So maybe I ask my friend, or maybe I just remember it. That's a good one to know. Okay, now how am I going to put that as a relationship over here so that the miles will cancel and the feet will be in the numerator, right? I want the feet to be in the numerator. Okay, so I'm going to put the feet, 5,280 feet, in the numerator. And then in the denominator, I put the 1 mile. Okay, so now I have the feet right where I want them. I want them in the numerator. What happens to the miles? Well, the miles cancel. Those units are out of there. So now I had no feet per hour, if you look at what's left. But I don't want hours, I want seconds. So I have to think about seconds then. How can I get seconds down there? Well, I know that there are 60 minutes in an hour. Oops, minutes, not miles. 60 minutes in 1 hour. Okay, that gets rid of my hours if I put it in the right place. So I want hours in the numerator. 1 hour is 60 minutes. And now I can get the hours to cancel. Okay, so far so good. But I wanted seconds. I don't want minutes. So I have to use another fact that I know, that there are 60 seconds in 1 minute. Okay, so I want the minutes in the numerator, and I want the seconds in the denominator. And then now the minutes are going to cancel. And now I have the units that I want. I have feet in the numerator and I have seconds in the denominator. Okay, so that's what I want, feet per second. So now it's just the numbers. You've got 60 times 5,280 feet over 60 times 60 seconds. That's what's left. Now all these ones, 1 times anything is just that thing, so you don't need the ones. Okay. Now you could make your, you could go to a calculator at this point, or you could make it a little simpler and cancel those 60s. And then now I'd grab a calculator and do the division. And it turns out 5,280 divided by 60 is 88. And then what are the units that we have? We have feet per second. Okay, so, and maybe you're saying, well, why would I want to know feet per second? Sometimes, you know, in physics, they might have a formula where you want it in feet per second, or there might be another reason. Okay, so now you know that if somebody's going 60 miles an hour, they're traveling 88 feet in 1 second, or 88 feet per second. Okay, so now let's look at the first problem that I was looking at in your, it might not be in your textbook, but in a textbook, I had a hydraulics textbook. It says if there is 1,728 cubic inches of water in 1 cubic foot, there is 231 cubic inches in 1 gallon, how many gallons are in 1 cubic foot? Okay, so you might just look at this problem and know how to do it. I had made my husband look at it and he's like, oh, you just divide. So he just was like, okay, 1,728 divided by 231, and he gets the answer, and it's great. And I'm like, okay, now, how did you do that? You know, like I was looking at it trying to figure it out. So plan A, if you just see it and it's right, go for it. But for me, I had to work it out a little bit more so that I would understand where things were coming from. Okay, so, I look at the end. What's the question I have? How many gallons are in 1 cubic foot? Okay, so this is my plan B. Gallons, that's what I want to know, in 1 cubic foot, or gallons per cubic foot, right? Okay, that's what I'm trying to figure out. This is what I don't know, and I'm trying to figure it out. So then I go to what I do know. Well, I know there's 1,728 cubic inches in 1 cubic foot. Okay, I want that in the denominator, right? The cubic feet. So let me do that. I'm going to write 1,728 cubic inches. I put the units so I'll know where they're at over 1 cubic foot. They told me that. They gave me the information. Okay, that's matching for me. I've got cubic feet right where I want them. Cubic feet down here, cubic feet down here. I don't want those cubic inches though. I want those to be gone. So now I'm looking at the other piece of information they gave me. They said there are 231 cubic inches in a gallon. So I'm going to multiply. Where do I want cubic inches? I want it in the denominator because I want those cubic inches to cancel out. And then the gallon is going to be in the numerator. But good news for me, I want gallons in the numerator, right? So the gallons are where I want them. These cubic inches are going to cancel, and now I have exactly what I want. I have gallons in the numerator and cubic feet in the denominator. Now it's just a matter of doing the math. So I have 1,728 gallons. It's times 1, but like we said, you know, times 1 is just going to be 1,728. And then I have 231 cubic feet in the denominator. And then I get a calculator and I figure that out. Oh, I don't remember the answer, so let me get a calculator. 1,728 divided by 231. And I get, now I've got a decimal, and we talked about this in the review videos, but I'm going to round to 2 decimal places. So 7.48, and that's gallons per cubic foot. Okay? All right.